In November 2020, due to well-known reasons, Huawei chose to sell Honor, and Honor at that time also ushered in its darkest moment. According to IDC data, the market share of Honor in Q4 2019 was 13%, but in Q4 2020, this number fell directly to 4.6%, and this trend continued in 2021, and the market share of Honor in Q1 that year continued to fall to 4%. But only a year later, Honor rebounded against the odds. 2022 Q1 IDC data shows that at that time, Honor market share has exceeded 18.2%. According to another research organization, Counterpoint Research, data affected by component shortages, recurring epidemics and other factors, global smartphone shipments fell 7% year-on-year and 12% sequentially to 328 million units. However, against the backdrop of an overall decline in shipments for the industry as a whole, Honor's shipments rose 148% year-over-year to 16 million units in the quarter. From rebounding from adversity to plummeting sales, what has Honor experienced? Leaving Huawei's Honor, can it get out of a road of its own? Honor has always seen Apple phones as its competitors. Will it succeed? Welcome to Tech Teller. Today I will share my views with you. Let's watch today's video together. In fact, behind the rapid growth of Honor is actually a multi-party common promotion. First, Huawei seems to be the Honor of the independent, but in many ways still get support from Huawei. First of all, Honor was sold, had taken more than 8,000 employees, 5 research and development centers, hundreds of first-class level of laboratory, as well as Huawei Terminal Original R&D team. These people also for the subsequent Honor of the R&D laid the foundation. Secondly, since the beginning of its birth, Honor has taken on the important task of Huawei's main focus on young people and cost-effective mobile phones. After several years of operation and development, this impression has gradually formed in the minds of consumers. Although Honor's offline stores after independence clearly prohibit dealers from using Huawei's materials to advertise and salespeople bundle Huawei for sales, many consumers still cannot afford the relatively high prices of Huawei's P series and Mate series. Nature has become a substitution, in a sense. In the end, Honor received the support of a large number of business resources from Huawei. This support is self-evident. In addition, it is the support of Honor shareholders. After independence, the Honor dealer team became the shareholder of Honor. With interests tied to each other, dealers are also willing to purchase and sell goods. At the same time, Honor has also received capital increases from many shareholders with Chinese state-owned capital backgrounds, which also opened up the situation for Honor in the TOB market. Although the decline in the sales of Honor mobile phones is related to the current sluggish demand in the mobile phone industry and the fact that the market has not yet bottomed out, from the perspective of Honor itself, behind the previous high growth is actually a hidden danger for the current decline in sales. In the past 2 years, the strategy adopted by Honor in its products has always been the Machine C strategy, and its new machine release speed can be said to be far ahead. Taking 2021 as an example, the Honor V40/V40 Lite luxury version will be launched in January, the 50 series and Magic 3 series will be launched in June and August, the Honor 60 series and Honor X30 series will be launched in December. But in contrast, the Huawei Mate series and the Apple series basically maintain the speed of releasing a new model a year. However, behind the intensive new releases of Honor, there is almost no room for difference in the overall configuration of many new Honor phones except for the size and camera data. For example, the processors used by Honor 1560 are Snapdragon 775 and Snapdragon 778, respectively, and the difference between the two phones on the evaluation platform is only more than 20 points. One chip uses 4 generations has become the most criticized place for many technology and digital bloggers on Honor. In the context of the relatively low willingness of consumers to replace new phones, consumers also pay special attention to the configuration of mobile phones. Compared with the iPhone 14 and iPhone 13 series released by Apple last year, the overall configuration has not been particularly improved. According to an analysis report, the sales volume of the iPhone 14 series in the first 3 days was about 987,000 units, an 11% drop compared to the sales of the iPhone 13 series, making it the least popular iPhone in history. From this point of view, Honor is naturally facing the fate of declining sales. So, with such a fast release frequency of new phones, how many Honor phones are in stock when sales continue to decline? According to IDC data, in Q1 and Q2 of 2022, Honor mobile phone shipments will be 13.5 million and 13.1 million respectively. Then we can roughly know that there are more than 7 million mobile phones of Honor mobile phones that have not yet been activated, and they have become a backlog of inventory machines in the hands of dealers. We just can't carry it anymore, we can only close the store to reduce losses. Honor offline dealers said helplessly. Because the honor of the requirements of the offline experience store must be in the local traffic flow is relatively large in the core business district, the store area requirements in more than 100 square feet, its corresponding store rent is naturally conceivable. If a substantial price reduction to deal with inventory will only make the store losses more serious. And the current consumer replacement cycle has been extended to more than 32 months in the background, even if the dealers to take a large-scale price cuts can bring how many sales is not known. Finally, the honor of a variety of new and old machine compared to the old machine, there is no obvious upgrade, which makes it difficult for the store frontline sales to give consumers to tell the difference between the old and new models of the selling point. And honor online channels to make beautiful results, and in a substantial price cut, which is undoubtedly in the overdraft of consumer demand, increasing the operating pressure of offline stores. Not only that, in the old model facing the background of stagnant sales, but also must be based on the honor of the ordering index to order new models, which leads to a large number of cell phone inventory is all pressed in the hands of dealers. Under the high inventory, dealers for inventory back to the capital will inevitably think of a variety of ways, but the price is to lead to the honor of the cell phone offline pricing system is chaotic, between the different channels tampering is serious, which in turn affects the management and operation of the entire offline system. If the offline channel management and control is out of balance, it is easy to let the honor of the phone into the handling of inventory, the old version of the phone simply upgrade to the new machine sold, consumers and dealers are dissatisfied, a large number of dealers to withdraw, the inventory backlog is serious in the vicious circle. In the face of low demand for cell phones in China and fierce competition, Honor has also begun to focus on the huge overseas market. At the launch of Honor 70 in May 2022, Xiaoming emphasized that Honor has now opened 16 overseas markets. The overseas market is a huge vault, and there is no ceiling in the next 3 to 5 years. But frankly speaking, Honor wants to do a good job of overseas business also face a lot of realistic pressure. First, the Southeast Asian market, for example, although many research reports mention that the current Southeast Asian market is the blue ocean market, the future there is a huge imagination. But the biggest problem in the Southeast Asian market is that the local consumption capacity is poor. Take the Thai market as an example, because the local wage level in Thailand is generally in the 1,000 to 2,000 yuan, Honor is last year into the Southeast Asian region, the current local consumer recognition of the Honor brand is still in the initial stage. Honor subsequently want to open up the market situation in Southeast Asia, from the product price to localized operation, to personnel investment need to continue to make efforts. In addition, Honor in China's domestic market is mainly through the interests of dealers tied to boost sales, but obviously in the overseas market this set of playing method is difficult to work. Therefore, how to adjust the sales strategy according to different regions overseas, which is another realistic problem that Honor has to face. At present, the overseas market is in rapid change. Since Xiaomi entered the Indian market in 2014, it has not only launched a cell phone for local consumers, but also became the #1 smartphone brand in India in 2017. However, in June this year, the Indian Enforcement Agency released a document saying that it had issued a formal notice to Xiaomi Technology India Private Limited, Xiaomi India Branch, some executives, and 3 banks, and this notice may mean that the above seized funds will be formally confiscated. But Xiaomi is not a case. According to India's Economic Times, reported that the Indian local government requires a number of cell phone companies in India's factory core positions must be held by Indian nationals. These problems that Honor is currently facing are also inevitable. After all, it has been less than 3 years since it became independent from Huawei. It will not be overnight for Honor to truly grow up. However, the high expectations from the capital market and dealers, as well as the glory that has been rumored to be on the market many times, naturally face greater pressure than other manufacturers. If Honor only relies on shortening the release cycle of new phones, I am afraid it can only solve the urgent need and cannot fundamentally attract more users. In this era of disruptive innovation, we can only look forward to the two-wheel drive of technological development plus application requirements, as well as the ultimate product experience, to break the market pattern and meet market challenges. On the evening of July 12, Honor held a new product launch conference, and its third folding screen mobile phone, the Magic V2, was officially released. Surprisingly, the new phone is not just a routine update. It is the first time that the thickness of the folding screen mobile phone has been pulled into the millimeter era. Compared with previous products, Magic V2 has obvious changes and improvements, which can be said to be an important intergenerational upgrade since the release of the Magic series. Honor, which has always been keen to benchmark Apple, also mentioned the iPhone several times during the period. Magic V2 is lighter than the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and the self-developed chip performs better than the latter in a weak network environment. Xiaoming said that Honor Magic, the goal of V2 is to compete with the iPhone 14 and the future iPhone 15. Before that, Honor also released a theme commercial, Goodbye, that pays tribute to the first iPhone commercial, Hello. In the past, the growth of Honor has a lot to do with the Huawei label. The user's perception of Honor cannot be separated from Huawei. Huawei has vacated the high-end smartphone market, but also left a window of opportunity for the development of Honor. Behind the Honor also has the original Huawei R&D system, team, to support product innovation. But relying on the Huawei label to bring growth, long-term unsustainable. Now, Huawei is also seeking to buck the trend of growth. The current domestic best-selling folding screen cell phone, many of them from Huawei, in the domestic folding screen market share of more than half. With Huawei gradually returning to the right track, there is not much room for Honor to grow. Since this year, Apple's dominance in the high-end cell phone market has become more solid, and the relevant models of Honor have not appeared in the relevant list. At the same time, the price of the top-ranked products are all below $500, and it is difficult to break through the siege of the iPhone series. The competition with Apple is a long-term process for Honor. Honor's challenge to Apple is a strategic direction for the future. Will it succeed? We will see. That's all for today's sharing. We'll see you next time.